Imagine a plot so shocking, so utterly unthinkable, that it sounds like something from the darkest corners of fiction. A secret plan, drafted by the highest echelons of power, to stage brutal acts of terrorism on one's own citizens. To bomb civilian targets, sink innocent ships, even potentially sacrifice lives, all to ignite public fury and justify a war. The Cold War was a global chess match, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. Nuclear annihilation loomed, and the world was divided. Just 90 miles off the coast of Florida, a seismic shift had occurred. Fidel Castro's communist revolution had triumphed in Cuba, aligning itself with the Soviet Union. The failed Bay of Pigs invasion in April 1961, a backed attempt by Cuban exiles to overthrow Castro, had been a humiliating disaster for the Kennedy administration. It left many within the U.S. military high command feeling a desperate need for decisive action. They believed direct military action was not just an option, but a necessity to remove Castro and prevent communism from taking root so close to American shores. But invading a sovereign nation without clear provocation was a political and international minefield. A justifiable cause for war was needed. This isn't a hypothetical. This was a real proposal. This was Operation Northwoods. Welcome to InCredible Mysteries. And internationally, making Cuba appear as an unhinged, dangerous aggressor. Frustrated by the perceived indecisiveness in Washington after the Bay of Pigs, they were convinced that conventional approaches were insufficient. They believed extraordinary measures were required to break the diplomatic stalemate and rally the cellmate, American public, behind a full-scale invasion of Cuba. To understand the genesis of Operation Northwoods, we must transport ourselves back to the early 1960s. This could involve blowing up ammunition, setting fires, or even sinking a friendly ship within the harbor. The Joint Chiefs suggested orchestrating bombings in Miami and other Florida cities, inciting riots, and even carrying out assassinations of Cuban refugees. After these heinous acts, they would plant false evidence, such as planted weapons or fake documents, to decisively implicate the Cuban government. To ensure the blame fell squarely on Castro, the perpetrators would be friendly Cubans, presumably U.S. operatives or compliant exiles, dressed convincingly in Cuban military uniforms. Over several weeks in early 1962, the Joint Chiefs meticulously drafted a series of proposals, each more shocking than the last. The plan even suggested that if the 1962 Mercury manned spaceflight carrying American hero John Glenn were to fail for any reason, the U.S. could fabricate evidence to blame Castro, presenting it as irrevocable proof of communist sabotage. Detailing a plan to stage acts of terrorism and violence against American interests, then unequivocally blame them on Fidel Castro and his government. This top-secret document, dated March 13, 1962, was officially titled Justification for U.S. Military Intervention in Cuba. The civilian plane would be swapped mid-flight, landing secretly at a different airfield where its passengers, presumably unaware or complicit in the deception, will be safely disembarked. Upon reviewing the chilling document, Kennedy was reportedly appalled and immediately rejected the plan. The drone, now flying the original civilian route, would then be publicly shot down by a fabricated Cuban MiG attack. This would create international headlines of an unprovoked act of Cuban aggression against innocent civilians. The document explicitly stated, and I quote, "Casualties would be acceptable." This firm rejection, driven by ethical concerns and a clear understanding of the potentially catastrophic consequences, created significant friction between the President and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Its existence was unknown to the public, a hidden chapter in the Cold War's tense narrative. Many historians believe this incident further widened the chasm of trust between the Kennedy administration and certain elements within the military establishment. It was a rare moment where a proposed extreme measure by military planners was unequivocally shut down by civilian leadership. It offered a stark, unsettling glimpse into the lengths to which some in power were willing to go to achieve their strategic objectives. It became a profound example of a false flag operation considered at the highest levels, forever altering our understanding of Cold War paranoia and the ethical boundaries that were, thankfully, upheld in this instance. It's a stark reminder of the immense pressures faced by leaders, the profound moral questions that arise in times of conflict, and the vital importance of oversight and ethical leadership. The fact that such a plan was conceived, debated, and ultimately rejected shapes our understanding of a pivotal moment in history. The aim was to generate intense public sympathy for the victims and unleash a wave of righteous anger against Cuba. For the United States, Castro's Cuba was an intolerable affront, a communist dagger pointed at the nation's heart. At the very peak of the U.S. military hierarchy sat the Joint Chiefs of Staff, led by Chairman General Lyman Lemnitzer. If you found this revelation as incredible as we did, be sure to hit that like button, share this video with fellow truth seekers, and subscribe to Incredible Mysteries ** for more journeys into the hidden corners of history and beyond. We'll keep digging. The John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Review Board, established to declassify documents related to JFK's assassination, uncovered and publicly released the Operation Northwoods Memorandum. The full document was later made widely available online by the National Security Archive in 2001, allowing anyone to read the shocking proposals in their entirety. Their solution? To create a casus belli, a fabricated incident that would serve as a public justification for war. The contents of Operation Northwoods read like a chilling screenplay. The proposals were designed to create widespread outrage, both domestically, among the most shocking suggestions. Staged attacks on Guantanamo Bay, ***, the plan detailed fabricating violent incidents at the U.S. naval base in Cuba. Fabricated terror in Florida, the plans extended to U.S. soil. The sinking of refugee boats, ***. One proposal was particularly chilling, intentionally sinking a boat filled with Cuban refugees fleeing to the United States. The drone passenger plane plot, ***. Perhaps the most audacious and technologically advanced scheme involved replacing a chartered civilian aircraft with a remotely controlled drone, blaming Cuba for space disasters, ***, in an era of intense space race competition. These were not idle brainstorming sessions. These were formal, detailed proposals considered by the highest military authority, aimed at manipulating an entire nation and the world into a war. Thankfully, Operation Northwoods was never implemented. The decisive turning point came when the proposals landed on the desk of President John F. Kennedy. His administration made it unequivocally clear that they would not authorize a military invasion of Cuba based on such fabricated pretexts. For over 3 decades, Operation Northwoods remained buried deep within the archives of classified government secrets. It was only on November 18, 1997, that this extraordinary plan came to light. The declassification sent shockwaves through the public and historical communities. Operation Northwoods stands as a chilling testament to the extremes of the Cold War era. The truth, no matter how unsettling, must always come to light.